YouTube, it's Kathy, and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for September 24th through 30th. This week I read 2 books, I watched 4 movies, and I listened to 1 book. We're going to try to make this short and sweet because if you saw my video from yesterday, which I had to shoot in 10 takes because my camera just likes to pretend it doesn't have batteries, yeah, that's annoying. So we're going to see if I can do it in the first 13 minutes or so because that's the sweet spot for my camera, remembering it has battery power. First this week I read Spell on Wheels Volume 2, Just to Get to You. I didn't know that there was a second volume of this. It came out in 2020, which means I read the first volume in probably 2018 or 2019, so it had been quite a while since I knew these characters. So even though I remember really liking this series, I remembered basically nothing about it besides there's witches. In this volume we have 3 friends who are witches and they have somebody who is psychically calling out to one of them, so they're trying to find that person, and we're getting to know a little bit about that person along the way as they are trying to find her. There's also a little bit of awkwardness because one of the girls is falling for the girl that they haven't met yet, who sometimes manifests herself in her friend, so every time her friend is nice to her, she's like, this is weird because I'm falling for you, but I'm not falling for you, I'm falling for that other girl. It was a fun time, I was entertained. Next I read Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. This is about literally facing your demons. When we first meet our main character, I thought that she was a teenager, and then it was dropped in that she was actually 20, and I was like, wow, these parents don't let this woman do anything. She lives in this very wholesome town in Montana where like everybody goes to the same church and everybody gets along, and one of the biggest industries in this area is actually a conversion therapy camp. One day our main character starts seeing some weird things, and then she starts remembering some things, and it goes from there. I really enjoyed this. I've read one other book by Chuck Tingle before and I really actually enjoyed it. I read it because I thought it was going to be silly, and also it took a dig at a certain author that I no longer support, so I was like, sure, why not? And then it ended up being actually really good, and this was also very well done. I don't want to tell you too much about it just because there are just some interesting things you learn along the way and you're like, oh, that's where the plot is going. Oh, okay. Needless to say, look up trigger warnings, and especially be careful with this if you have religious trauma because this definitely delves into that subject. On to the 4 videos we watched, the first one being Swiss Army Man. I had never actually heard of this one before until I watched a video about the weird stuff Daniel Radcliffe has done in movies recently, and I went, yeah, okay, I need to watch that. In this one, you basically just have 2 characters. There's a few more near the end, but you find this main character who has been stranded on an island, and he is about to just end his own existence when this other person washes up on the island. He's like, oh, I need to save this guy, but he realizes this guy is beyond saving. This guy is played by Daniel Radcliffe, and he becomes a farting corpse that actually gets this guy off the island, and then they go on an adventure to find civilization again, except for his body is being used in various different ways to help the main character actually trek through all this wilderness to potentially find his way home. If that sounds weird to you, don't worry, it gets even weirder, and oh my goodness, the way it was put together was just really cool. The idea of this was really interesting. It is such a weird film. If you want to watch something weird, please go watch it. Next we did a rewatch of Scream because of course it is spooky season. I hadn't seen it in a while and I just really wanted to watch it again and just laugh at little things that I picked up, like Don't Fear the Reaper playing while they're making out and things like that. Scream is one of those movies that I feel like I don't have to tell you what it is. I just wanted to tell you that I watched it, and we can't actually watch the second one because the second one out of all of them is not on Netflix, so we're gonna have to figure out how to watch our way all the way through them because I don't actually know if I've seen them all. We also did a rewatch of Do Revenge because it was on the screen when we couldn't find Scream 2, and I went, yes, I really enjoyed this, and I don't think that James, which is Chad's twin, had seen it before, so I was like, yes, I'm putting this back on because it's a lot of fun, and yes, it is still a lot of fun. It's about this girl who wants to get revenge on her boyfriend for leaking personal information, and at summer camp she meets this girl who wants to get revenge on another girl that goes to the school because she said some untrue things about her in the past, and it goes from there. It's just so fun and so interesting, and I just really enjoyed it. The cast is also really good. Then last night we also watched Wrongfully Accused, which is a Leslie Nielsen movie, and it is basically The Fugitive but make it ridiculous and add in some other things, and it's very much the slapstick comedy of a Leslie Nielsen film. If you've never seen one of his films before, they are ridiculous. I highly suggest at least watching one in your lifetime. And as we were watching the opening credits, I was like, Leslie Jones, cool! But no, it's definitely a different Leslie Jones was in this film than the Leslie Jones I was thinking of when I saw the credits. It's either a demon or the furnace. Finally, the book that I listened to this week was Going Bicoastal by Dahlia Adler. This one is fantastic. It's about this girl named Natalia. She lives in New York with her dad. As I was editing this, I found out that my camera just completely deleted this clip for no reason. Natalia has a decision to make. Does she spend the summer in New York with her dad, where she usually lives, or does she go on a bit of an adventure and go to Los Angeles, where her mother lives and has lived for about 3 years now, because she got a promotion which made her move away and her parents are divorced. The fun thing about this book is she doesn't actually have to decide, because we see the timelines of both of these summers and they're both fantastic. She spends the summer in New York with some of her friends, and also she meets this girl she's been crushing on for ages, and that progresses. But then we also see her in Los Angeles and getting to know her mom a little bit better, and then also getting to know the grumpy intern she's working with and what his whole deal is. And all of this was lovely because basically you are getting 2 love stories for the price of 1. You don't have to worry about like which one should she pick, because this is 2 separate timelines and she just gets 2 lovely romances. I very much enjoyed this. That's it for this week, because believe it or not, this camera has died several times while I've been making this very short video, so I'm gonna have to look into getting a new one. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you happen to be on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that, as always, is down below. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye. I said it like that because I thought it had turned off just before I said bye, but it didn't. But it's about to.